briefing to come and highlight on the extent of our operations regarding operations behind the perpetrators who carried out deadly attacks on our police post at Nakasozi, and also who lured two of our police officers from Busunju police station and murdered them. So we want to inform the public that we have so far arrested 8 suspects who were behind the deadly attacks on police officers, and also recovered 2 guns so far. The Directorate of Crime Intelligence, in close coordination with the Flying Squad Unit and the territorial commanders in Wamala Region, have made a breakthrough in their operations surrounding the deadly attacks on police officers and arrested 8 suspects whom we've established to be members of a newly formed rebel group called the Uganda Coalition Forces of Change, UCFC. These ones, together with other members of the rebel outfit, conducted very violent attacks on security personnel at Busunju and also at Nakasozi. In the attacks that they conducted, 4 police officers were killed, 2 from Busunju police station and the other 2 from Nakasozi police post. 4 guns were robbed from these sets of police officers who were killed during the deadly attacks. The facts that we've gathered indicate how our teams managed to build on the intelligence that they had gathered, and today we've managed to carry out a very successful raid on the hideouts of these rebel group members in one of the wetlands found in Kabusi village, Kabusi Parish, Bukuya Town Council in Kasanda district. Those who know these 2 districts, this wetland is located between Kasanda and Chiboga. The 8 suspects who were rounded up and arrested include the following: Makumbi Mosh, alias Engineer, who is the field commander, and he's a resident of Wakiso, who was recruited from Wakiso, and they were locally trained in Mitiana initially and started these attacks. Then we also have Lugendo Stuart Xavier, alias Kufateka, a 28-year-old resident of Wakiso, and he was also the second in charge. We've also arrested Mulindwa Julius, a 32-year-old resident of Bukerekere village in Wakiso. Masembe John Nasif, a 28-year-old resident of Kasanda. Yamuremire Paul, a 19-year-old from Chisoro district. Senyonga Bob Robert, a 25-year-old recruited from Rakai. We also have Nabukenya Teopista, a 50-year-old female adult from Namayumba in Wakiso, and Matovu Sylvester, a 21-year-old resident of Wakiso Town Council. We managed to recover 2 police guns and 22 rounds of ammunition. Remember, 2 police guns were stolen from Busunju and another 2 from Nakasozi, but we've recovered 1 each, one which was stolen from Nakasozi, and another one which was stolen from our officers attached to Busunju. So that means there are 2 other police guns in these recent deadly attacks that are still missing, but we are pursuing the prevailing leads We also recovered an assortment of mobile phones that were using for communication, cooking utensils, and a number of tents that they had erected in these swamps. Upon interrogation, the suspects admitted to having been recruited into the newly formed rebel group with the objective of overthrowing government. At the time of the arrest, they had already carried out surveillance on our police station at Sekanyonyi, and they were targeting one of the shifts where we have 4 police officers manning the counter and also the station. So they were targeting 4 guns after carrying out surveillance on our police station at Sekanyonyi in Mitiana. They indicate that the purpose of attacking police officers was first of all to acquire arms and also to eliminate police officers as one of their enemies, because they were looking at police officers as an obstacle to their struggle to overthrow government. You remember very well, this group carried out the first attack on the 7th of December 2021 at 4 p.m., where they lured 2 police officers, Corporal Okech Alfred and PC Chigongo Moses, into an ambush. They shot Corporal Okech, killing him instantly, and also hacked Police Constable Chigongo to death and robbed their guns. This attack that they conducted at the police station at Busunju was after they had created 2 camps in Mitiana. Remember, they were recruited from Wakiso, and then they were locally trained in Mitiana. One of the camps was at Wabinyira in Busunju, and the other one was at Shikandwa in Mitiana. That is where they were locally trained from, and it is from those 2 camps that they started, they made the first deadly attack. When we responded to the first attack that they made, we managed to comb the whole area and even reached these 2 camps in Wabinyira and Shikandwa. We found when they had deserted these 2 camps and shifted their base to the swampy area at Kabusi village in Bukuya Town Council. It is at this second camp of theirs at Kabusi where they carried out the second deadly attack. That was after 10 days on the 17th at Nakasozi police post, and they killed Corporal Nsubuga Francis and Special Police Constable Dimba Paul, and then robbed their guns. The local commander who was also arrested is Makumbi Mosh, alias Engineer, is the one who was able to inform us how they were recruited majorly from Wakiso and locally trained in their bases at Mitiana. They were also provided with material support and encouraged to conduct violent attacks on law enforcement officers to advance their goals of overthrowing the current government. Now, efforts are in place to pursue the other members of this newly formed rebel outfit and recover all weapons in their hands. They have managed to give us the names of their overall commander. We are not going to reveal those ones at this stage. But of course, we know who the person who has been recruiting them into these rebel ranks and also providing material support is known. Once that one is arrested, then we shall conduct expansive investigations to establish the groups behind these new acts of violence and lawlessness. So the arrests clearly demonstrate our resolve and commitment to protect Ugandans, and we pledge to continue pursuing all terrorists who target Ugandans. These 8 suspects are being charged with terrorism and also being in possession of illegal and dangerous weapons. So far, we are processing them on 4 counts of murder and 4 counts of aggravated robbery. Like we've indicated, efforts are in place to track down all the other members of the group, including the mastermind behind the group. And however, we want to call upon Ugandans at all levels, but basically the local leaders, to always get involved in fighting crime and related acts of violence. For instance, this rebel outfit had pitched camp in Busunju for several months at these 2 places of Wabinyira and Chikandwa, and before they shifted to Kabusi village in Kasanda district. These were new faces in the area, and of course their movements were also suspicious in nature. They were buying new tents, cooking utensils, new mobile phones, but you can see that the locals are just not as vigilant. No one actually took interest, and yet fighting crime is a shared responsibility. As we conclude, we want to assure Ugandans and visitors that their safety and security remains as a top priority, and that we do continue with our operations that are aimed at disrupting and dismantling such kinds of rebel activity and other deadly plots against Ugandans and other citizens in the country. We want to thank you for listening to me. There are a few images, but they are not yet clear. We shall be sharing them as we get clearer pictures. This is Mulinda Julius. Mulinda Julius. They are all youth. You can see how these are all young youth who are recruited into these rebel ranks. I also talked about Masembe John Nasif in one of as being one of those members. You can see is also a youth, and we have Matovu Sylvester. He also looks like this, very young male adults who are recruited into these rebel ranks. Then Senyonga Bob Robert, this is how he looks, as young as he is. So you can see people taking advantage of the youth. This is Yamuremire, who was recruited from Chisoro. This is how he appears. So we expect the other images to come in, and the PR team will be sharing those images with you.